And so what we are honored to do now is recognize and present an award to a champion in the state capitol who recognizes that importance as well. And we are very lucky to be joined today by Assemblyman Chris Holden out of the LA area. And he is a champion. I'm going to ask him to come on up and tell him a little bit. Steve, I'm going to ask you to come on up as well. You have heard in our budget priorities at the very first panel yesterday from the Landerman Coalition's priorities, and one of those is the unfunded mandates, including many things such as local minimum wage and how that impacts our direct support professionals, and how we have been arguing for nothing more than just minimum wage at this point, my goodness, and how we wish we could do so much more. And Assemblyman Chris Holden was the author, and not just the author. Sometimes you author a bill and you say, okay, my name's on it, and now advocates go do the work. He wasn't just the author, he was a champion of this bill, AB 279 last year, which included, which brought in advocates, a rally at the state, and not only that, he was able to get co-authors, Republicans, Democrats, assembly members, senators, everybody in support of this bill. Didn't have a single no vote on it. It just got stuck. Well, there's reasons why, but we're working on that this year as he's championing another request this year. We just don't think that there was enough momentum in the governor's office to get it passed last year, which is why the Assemblyman has put even more energy behind it this year to try to pass it through. And so I'm going to ask Steve, who really is coordinating some efforts down in the Assemblyman's district, to say a few words as well.
Well, I was thinking about this, and so we're looking at a guy that just wouldn't say no, wouldn't take no for an answer, and just kept coming back. When a small, you have a number of local community advisory groups, and you solicit ideas, and you ask your community to talk to you about what's important. And a small community organization in your area, via Esperanza, talk to one of your staff about the minimum wage in the Los Angeles and Pasadena area is so high that even the increases that we got the year before were dwarfed by the increase in minimum wage, and we didn't really know what to do about it. That idea resonated a little bit with you and your staff, and we started working with, you have a fantastic staff. And so the first thing that you did, and the first thing that your staff did, was go to the budget committee and say, look, you know, the cost of living from San Francisco to San Diego to all of Los Angeles is so much higher than many other areas in the state. If you want to have providers and you want to have services for people in the high-cost areas, we have to recognize that it costs more. And as I recall, what your staff got in response was a one-page PowerPoint that showed how much money had come into the system the year before, and basically go away. And honestly, when we heard that, I thought we were going to hear, well, we tried, maybe come back next year. But your office didn't say no. It was like, well, okay, we talked about Mark Gold a little while ago, try another way. Couldn't get into the budget process. Maybe let's try legislation. You knew it was uphill. You knew you were going to be expending your resources and your political capital to push that issue. And as Jordan said, you pushed and you pushed and you pushed. And we, if nothing else, I think the legislature and the governor's office are now aware that services in Los Angeles and San Francisco and San Diego are in desperate trouble. We didn't get there last year. Once again, I thought we were going to hear, you guys, we tried our best, sorry. But as soon as that one closed up, it wasn't more than a month or 3 weeks after that bill died that you were telling us you're already starting to work for next year. You're having conversations with the governor's office. You're having conversations. You're working it, working it, working it. Guys, that's what a champion does. We know we often get a pat on the back, and we get that support that's a mile wide and an inch deep, because everybody's always on our side. But how often do you see a legislator work an issue for us? I don't know why. Maybe you can tell us what it was that connected with our population and you and your staff, but it connected. And here we are now, and there's nobody that doesn't understand the importance of the issue. And there's nobody in this room that doesn't appreciate you as a champion for our cause.
Absolutely. So on behalf of the ARC and United Cerebral Palsy California Collaboration, I present to Assemblymember Chris Holden an appreciation of your dedication to championing Assembly Bill 279 to strengthen services for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities and their families. Assemblyman, thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm indeed humbled by your recognition, and I know that I can only tell you that I did not push any harder than you do every single day. You are people who are committed to an important calling, and it's making a difference in people's lives. And that's the only connection that I needed to make, to know how important your roles and responsibilities are. And so we wanted to make sure that the system that we're in a position to influence was going to be as responsive to your needs as they should be. And so I can tell you that I do have a personal story. My niece, Gabriella, has Down syndrome. And so I see how my wife's sister, my sister-in-law, works so hard and tirelessly for the well-being of her daughter and making sure that she is identifying the resources out there that can help make her life the kind of productive life that God intended it to be, irrespective. And so I'm just happy that we are getting another bite at the apple. And yes, 279 was very important. And I will say that I've not had a piece of legislation that had unanimous support, bipartisan support in both houses, and not one member of 180 members, 140 members, vote no. Everyone was supportive of the legislation, except for the governor. That's all right. That's okay. But it's also part of the process. You know, we get that. There's a process. And so what we recognize, and it's not that the governor doesn't support the issues in the cause. I don't want to say that. But it just means that one door shut, another one open, and we had to push our way through. And so the budget becomes our best tool. We were in Dr. Arambula's committee last week, and he said, you know, one of the things that he found impressive of what we, and when I say we, I mean all of us, were able to do is retool, refocus, and get back in the game. And we had a budget request that went in December before the governor even put his budget out. So he may have had something in there for us, but we didn't take any chances. We wanted to start working the process to make sure that it was clear that this was going to be a priority that we wanted to support. And so at the hearing, there was a great presentation on the part of all who stepped forward to represent the developmental disability community. And we are looking for $25 million in the gap funding that will take us to 2020. And so at this stage, I'm getting really strong, positive feedback from the chair of the committee, who, I'll just tell you, he said he's going to recommend that we move the bill forward with the $25 million. So that's from Dr. Arambula. Now, okay, you can't show this tape or you can't tell anybody what I just said until such time as it's public, but it's got momentum, and so I think that's a great thing. So again, thank you for your recognition, but it's, you know, I'm just doing your job. This is what you elected me to do, and you know, it's a pleasure to be able to fight hard for causes that you believe in. So thank you.
I'm going to invite members of his district, Greater Pasadena, LA area, as well as board members, Betsy, Patty, and UCP, come on up for a picture as well.
I want to recognize Elle Hawksworth, because Elle Hawksworth is a part of my staff, but it's not just me that's committed, it's my staff. They are working very hard.
And Elle's been on the front line of this issue on 279 and also in the budget. So give Elle a big round of applause.
Wonderful.
And so much for my math skills, 120 legislators.
Come on in. Hang on 1 second. We got a further display dealer coming here. All right.
Oh, next to you, she's going to seem really short.
Yeah. I can stand there.
Is there any Doug or Margaret?
Oh, come on up, Margaret's here.
Yeah. Get the water out of the way. Tell us what to do, Al.
Just quietly moving it.
Okay, up there. Perfect. Get us all in.
We need a stack.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Great.
Right. Assemblymember Chris Holden.